Yo, what's going on, everybody? Sorry, I'm laughing because I was just staring at myself because I was waiting after the software told me that we're live before I started talking today. So hopefully that was enough time. What's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois, and it's time for another live stream. Today is Friday, June 3rd, 2022. Let me know if you heard it from the beginning, from the yo. I gave it 5 seconds before I started talking / giggling. Just seemed really awkward, but hopefully that was all it needed. If I need more time, let me know. And I wonder if it's going to be like, depending on how fast my internet speed is or what, if it will change, but I'm giving it a shot. All right. But I think for everyone listening on the audio version, man, if anyone listens to the audio version, let me know, DM me on Instagram or on Twitter, and let me know if it like cuts in from the middle. I don't think it does. Frankly, I just download the audio file from here and then I upload it. I don't really look at it or listen to it. So I actually don't know, but I guess I could go check myself. But if anyone knows, let me know. And everyone that's watching this on YouTube after the fact, I'm trying to think. I don't feel like it jumps in the middle of it because I've watched the live stream back before. I don't know. I'm going to do some more research into it, but hopefully you guys are doing all right. It's Friday, so if you guys are watching this later, hopefully like kids are in bed and you're just relaxing, getting ready for your long runs tomorrow or something like that. What's going on, everyone else here? Sean says, it was the perfect pause and I nailed it. All right. And JC says, yo, what's going on? Finally heard it. And Adam said the first words were, because I was waiting. Okay, so 5 seconds. I'm going to start giving it 5 seconds. It seems like the right amount. Runner Will says he has meetings again today, so he's not going to be able to join. But yeah. He says, hope you all have an amazing weekend. You too, Will. You too. And it says, hi, Kapuzi and everybody. Bought a new chainsaw today. You'll be glad to know all of the dishes are still intact. Oh, and I got in a run with Pip as well. Well, that's always good to hear. Yeah. Chainsaws are scary. Really scary. I mean, I think that, I grew up at the time at like peak Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. So like chainsaws have always, they're a terrifying thing already, but like they've been extra terrifying for me. Not that I've ever seen any of those movies. But it was always such a strange, like a scary, intimidating gardening tool, I guess. Mika says, hello all, I did a crisp 40 minutes today, 10-minute warm-up, 20 minutes at 182 beats per minute average, and a 10-minute cool down. Such an endorphin rush now. Very cool, very cool. All right, Lucas H says, hello, my running friends. So happy to catch a live stream today. It's been a while. He says, congrats on 100K Co. I'm excited for all the travel races and events you got lined up for the summer. Thanks. Me too. I'm very excited. I felt bad because one of my brothers-in-law actually invited me to go on a canoeing, camping, bicycling trip. And I was like, that sounds fun. And he like invites me to like one trip a year. And I feel like I get like the sympathy invite, it's like, I guess I should invite him too. And I end up saying no every single year. But I kind of always feel bad. But I was like, I'm going to be in Denver when that's happening. So I'm not going to be able to do that because I'll be doing some other travel, and hopefully I'll be able to meet some of you guys in person. If not for the first time, again, some of you, we've met before. It's pretty awesome. Sergeant Ray's here, says, glad to join you in the gang on a Friday. He just got back from a 3-miler. It's good to hear you getting back out there. And Remy says, is this the right live stream? It's been a while and missed this place. What's going on, Remy? Remy posted something on Instagram today about like cleaning like a bike wheel, like the back one, the one with all the gears on it. And he's like, you got to make sure you clean it, good bike or cheap bike or whatever. And I'm just like, I wouldn't even really know how to get the wheel off of the bike. So I don't know how to do any of that kind of maintenance. My bike definitely needs a tune-up. Hopefully all it needs is a tune-up, because every time I change the gear, not every time, but there's certain gears when I get into it, the gears slip. And so I'm like, I'm guessing there's some cables or something that could use some tightening or something like that. But I've never washed the bike, and I'm still on like the original inner tubes. So like, I don't know if like, that means I'm due for a flat. That terrifies me because I'm not sure how to fix that. So I got some YouTube video learning to do, I guess, coming up. Lena says, hi, Co-Fam, ready for Grandma's mic? Race goals? I think, I was thinking about that today. It feels like I haven't really done anything for Grandma's, but like looking back, I've been putting in some work. And I think this is like the first marathon build where I'm not like, desperately awaiting the taper. Usually I just try to keep pressing and pressing and pressing until the taper. This one I feel like I'm coming into the taper in better like physical condition, in terms of like being banged up. And I think that's okay. It's kind of scary because it's not like, because I don't feel like I've done like the hard work. I haven't been like throwing up and stuff, from all the workouts. But not that I usually throw up, but I think that's good. I mean, I'm fit. I've been fit. I've been marathon training basically since like last September, October. So like my body's tired, and I think that just like, getting like today's run was 10 miles at marathon effort. I was thinking about making it 12, making it longer, but then I was like, I don't know how much more of a benefit I'm going to get from the extra two. I mean, the benefit would be like just more mental time practice at marathon effort, especially once it starts to get a little bit difficult. But I was like, no, I think I'm okay. I think I'm good. I need to focus on protecting myself. And there's going to be a lot of travel between now and then, a lot of other stuff going on. So I'm like, I need to just make sure I'm in good mental space and physical space. So I think I'm there. And the goal is going to be to stick with that 3-hour group for as long as possible and hopefully charge right past them right at the end. So those are the race goals. So, I think it's going to depend on, a lot of it's going to depend on the weather. If it's going to be real hot, or if we're going to have a strong headwind, then I'm just going to go with try to keep it at 165 to 170 beats per minute, and wherever I end up, where I end up. But if conditions are good, I'm going to go for it. So, yeah. All right. Will Willing says, how would you train for a half marathon in January of 22-23? I think that means 2023. 22-23, I would get on, I'm certain that at that point, human beings may have evolved past shoes. So like I'd have to put on whatever it is that people wear for their feet. But for 2023 January, it would depend on what you want to do, Will, for it. If you want to make that like an A race where you're going for a PR, if you're thinking about like Houston half marathon, then personally, I would probably start looking to start training for like 2 months out. And my mileage wouldn't be all that different than what I'm doing for marathon training. For marathon training, my two like main kind of workouts are threshold repeats, and then for my long run, I put in marathon effort miles to do race specific training. For a half marathon, I might change that up, and if I'm doing 3 sessions a week, I might do like a day of 400s at 5K pace, a day of threshold repeats, and then for my long run, put some half marathon miles in there, so that's kind of like how I would do it. And then if I'm down to 2 quality sessions a week, a threshold repeats day, and then some half marathon effort miles in my long run, just to get that race specific training. So that's kind of how I would do it. Let's see. JC says, Mike. Guess what day today is? It's National Donut Day. Did you buy some? I did not. I did not buy any donuts today. I did not know it was National Donut Day. I thought it was National Bike Day because I saw a lot of bike posts on Instagram, but that might have been stuff from yesterday. So maybe yesterday was National Bike Day, or Global Bike Day, kind of like there was Global Running Day earlier in the week. So that's what I thought it was, but I didn't know it was National Donut Day. I might have to get some. I'll just stop by Stan's on the way to pick up the kids from school. Maybe I'll do that. Did you guys get any donuts today? Brian Palmer here says, hi all. How's everyone doing on this wonderful Friday? The weather is gorgeous here in Chicago. Absolutely beautiful. Light winds weren't too bad for my run, although I had more headwind than I was expecting for my workout. So that was a little bit frustrating, but overall it ended up being fine, and it's just absolutely just gorgeous. Hopefully it's like that wherever you guys are. Lena said, saw a Rabbit ad that had Phil Shin as part of a Friday Donut race group, and Rabbit is selling the shirts. I don't know off the top of my head who Phil Shin is. Should I know who Phil should know? I probably should know. Autovog says, that's a great picture, Otto. He's right there in the sunset on the beach or by some water. He says, hi everyone. Hi Mike. Hats off to you, Mike. I still haven't been able to break in my Agravic Terex shoes. Every time I look at them, my ankles cry. You know, I'm glad that other people feel that way. I mean, I'm not glad, but it's edifying that other people had some difficulties with the Terex Agravic Ultra Trail. Yeah. You know what happened to me? It was like 1 week where I was in Iowa and I brought like 2 shoes. One pair of shoes that I was like running to 100 miles in, and then the Terex Agravic Ultra. So I was there for like 5 days, and I had to run in that for like 3 of those days or 4 of those days. So like doing that in a row, I don't know if it calloused my ankles or finally broke down some of the materials in that Agravic Ultra Trail, but it kind of works for me now, and there is like a comfort to how like shielded and protected, you know, I just feel like a turtle in a shell in that shoe. I mean, I kicked some crazy lots of rocks and I was just like, oh, I didn't even feel that. I almost fell, but I didn't feel it on my foot. So there was kind of like comfort to that. But yeah, it was not the most comfortable upper. And then on the video for the Agravic Trail Ultra that came out today, Believe in the Run were like, we can't believe you ran 100 miles in these. And I was like, I mean, I don't think that they were that bad. I think if they fixed the upper, then they'd have a potentially really good shoe. I would like there to be a little bit more boost in there because they have another one that's a little bit faster, right? So there's like the one that I had has 299 written on the kind of like the toe box. There's another one that says 249. I think it's 249 grams. So that could be the speedy one, kind of like a Zenol. And then like, I think that like this shoe probably is set up to compare to like some of the Solomon Trail offerings, just the way that the lugs are and the way it's so like stiff, you know. But yeah, I think that like it just it needs a little bit more tweaking. Sean said, when I heard Boston Eye with lugs, I was psyched, but I think I'll wait for the SenseRide 5. I think that's probably the right way to go. Although that shoe right now, the Ultra Trail is on sale for like under $100 on Adidas right now. But I still think that unless you really need the savings, like I think that like the shoe has a lot of promise, but I think it needs some tweaking. You know, I'm not exactly recommending it, I would say. Mr. Random says, what is your mid-year shoe of the year? Also, what shoe are you still looking forward to test? I'm really looking forward to testing the Endorphin Pro 3 and the Adios Pro 2. Adios Pro 3. I was listening to the Believe in the Run podcast today, and they were talking with the product line manager for the Adizero shoes. Yeah, it sounds awesome. I can't wait. I think I'm really going to like it, the Adios Pro 3. So that's probably the one that I'm looking forward to test. I looked on the Adidas app and it said it comes out on June 23rd here in the US at 2 a.m. in the morning. So I'll be setting an alarm probably, try and get a pair of those. And then the Endorphin Pro 3. Ultra Trail Steven got a pair. I think he got a pair of the Pro 3 and the Speed 3. So I'm very jealous. I want those. I would prefer, I mean, I love a good pink shoe, but I'll probably wait to see if we get the Endorphin Pro 3 in the black, because the black then that I saw, I don't know if that's not a men's, that's a men's color, isn't it? I don't know. But that's one that I think is going to be it was like black with like little gold flecks in it. I was like, that's a good looking shoe. The one I saw in Texas. And then I would say for mid-year shoe of the year, I mean, I just got the Nova Blast 3. And I know that one's not coming out to September, so it maybe doesn't count. But that I think is going to be my shoe of the year. It's so good. It's really just so good. And then I also have the Metaspeed Sky Plus, which I really love. I mean, but if we're going to go with shoes that are out now, shoe of the year that are out now, I don't know. The 880 version 12 is really impressing me. I like it so much. And that is one that you can buy right now. Or maybe I'd give it to the Speed Goat 5. I love that shoe. That is so good. It's so good. It's just like it could do everything for the trails. Like everything that you need to do on trails, I feel like the Speed Goat 5 can do. So like that's just really, really good. So those are some shoes that I'm like really loving right now. All right. Hey, it's Carlos. C says, I bought a pair of the Hoka Mach 4s on sale, and that might be the best daily I've ran in a while. Feels better than the Nova Blast. I mean, I say them in the same breath. The Mach 4 and the Nova Blast 2, both such good shoes. And Kerry Smith says, what ultra shoe do you recommend for a road runner, Mike? I'd say the Escalante is probably going to be the one. I thought that the Torin would be it for me, but the one that I think I ran in the Torin 4.5 plush. All she needs to figure out their names. Just go up a number. It's the 0.5s and the 0.5 with the suffix 0.5 plush. It's not doing it for me. So that one just didn't agree with me. But the Escalante that I think I ran in the 2.0. I can't remember if I ordered the 3.0 or not. I was on the website looking at it. But that's the one to look at. And then if you want the racer, the Vanish Carbon is good. Yeah. So the Escalante is probably where I'd look first. And Will Willing wants to know, what road shoe has been the biggest surprise this year? The 880. Because I just thought it would be a lot more of the same. Kind of one of those like, don't change it too much. Keep it. There's a value component to it. So like keep it super durable. It's okay if it's not the softest or that doesn't perform the best. But we just needed to check a whole bunch of boxes so that we can keep selling, a bunch of units. But I think they made some real different, I don't want to say like, what's the right word for it? Like the essence of the shoe changed, it's not really a workhorse shoe anymore. It's just like a regular, now it's in that like highest level of daily trainers, the ones that I really like. So that was a surprise for me. I was not expecting that at all. And then also how much I like the Speed Go 5. So, I mean, I guess the ones that I like the most are the ones that are the most surprising because they're not the ones that I would have expected. So, yeah. Matt Byer says, do you plan on testing the Rebel 3? Yes, because it's supposed to have a lot more stack height. I don't know when it comes out, or did it come out? Yeah, so, like, that's one, like, I feel like if they put a lot more stack height in it, and they can make sure it doesn't get too wobbly, then I think that they'll have like just a really great daily trainer that can go fast. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it could be, I think it could be one of the best shoes of the year if there's enough stack height on it. The Rebel version 2 just didn't have enough stack. So while it is, relatively speaking, just the bald numbers, if we're going by numbers alone, it's relatively tall shoe. But that kind of foam compresses a lot. And so, like, you need more of it to start off with to get daily trainer feel. I got speed shoe feel from it. Same thing with, like, the Puma Liberate. Great shoe. Love the upper, super minimal. Love the feeling. It's got that, like, chewing gum feeling to it, just, like, it's very satisfying. But there just wasn't enough for me to take it for very long. So, hey, it's Carlos. He says, what's your water station strategy during a marathon? How many cups are you grabbing? Are you showing your pace, slowing your pace at all to make sure you get enough? Yeah, so I usually try to do, I do a water station at basically every 4 miles or so. Depends on how the water stations are laid out at a marathon. So like most of my marathon nutrition strategy is based on 4s, loosely speaking. So like my gels I take every 4 miles, and then I want to take some water at the water station every 4 miles. And then I try to break it up so it's staggered. So actually I'm getting something every 2 miles. But I also kind of play it a little bit by ear depending on how hot it is and how I'm feeling. If I'm struggling towards the end of the race, I might be grabbing something at every aid station, or I might just be grabbing water to dump on myself to keep me cooled down. So that's kind of like it. The strategy is use them as needed, but at a minimum, I'll try to make myself take water every 4 miles or Gatorade sports drink every 4 miles, and I'll slow down a little bit, because like um, you're not going to lose that. You're going to lose a lot less time than you think in the aid station. And I feel like being able to actually drink a little bit is, even if you have to slow down, is ultimately going to be less taxing on your system energy wise than trying to keep pace, splashing a lot of it all over yourself, choking and half of it going down the wrong pipe, and then, coughing for the next 50 yards because you've got water in your lungs. So that's kind of my thought on it. Adam wants to know, is it ASICS or ASICS? I think that depends. I think if you're Asian, it's ASICS. It's more like a SH almost. I think that's kind of how that's how it would be pronounced in Korea. So, or maybe like ASICS, maybe it turns into 3 syllables. Like a consonant and an S is kind of hard for Korean pronunciation. And so, yeah, it could be. I think it just depends on what region you're in. That running guy, what's going on, Chris, says, really enjoying the Endorphin Pro 2. I'm very impressed with the 361 Flame. I saw you had a nice 5K PR in those. He says, currently in bed with COVID, though. It finally got me. Well, hopefully you'll get back really quick. But good work. At least you went into it with a 5K PR. So, yeah. Matt Byer says, oh, a lot of running questions today. That's awesome. Says, asking about the Rebel 3 to possibly replace the Audio 6. The Audio 6 outsole has worn down quickly on the lateral side. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I think that the Rebel 3 and the Audio 6 are pretty comparable. I would say like the Rebel 3 is probably a little bit more daily trainer, and the Audio 6 is a little bit more speed shoe. But I think of this Audio 6 as kind of like, the real Boston 10, and I would kind of use both of them. They feel different. They're certainly built differently, but the use cases I think would be pretty similar. So I think that I don't know about the version 3 for the Rebel, but the Rebel 2 I think would certainly be a good that would be a good head-to-head comparison, like trying to compare those two shoes. And like I do like the Audio 6 a lot, but I'm like, well, I think that the Audio 7's coming out soon, so I'm not anywhere near 100 miles on the Audio 6, so I'm just like, maybe I'll just wait for the Audio 7 to come out. But the Audio 6, I think that's one of those shoes that just kind of got overlooked. I think that, I was thinking about it today on my run, I think that with the proliferation of really good carbon-plated shoes, the whole like speed shoe category has just shrank. Like the need for them shrank, because most people are just going to do workouts in their race shoes, because race shoes last more than 100 miles now, so, but those speed shoes are also really useful still, and I hope they still make them, for people that want to use that kind of shoe as their daily trainer or don't necessarily want to be in carbon all the time. I like being in carbon a lot. I saw a question from, I think it was Dan. Oh, here we go. Danny Gugliuzza. What are some of your favorite running gel brands? Today on my run, I had 3 different gels. I only ended up eating 2 of them because I also brought Gatorade. But I brought a Unived, a regular gel, because they have regular ones and then they have the elite gels, which are like twice as big. I had a Unived regular. It was like the salted caramel, so good. And then I had a Science and Sport. It's like a citrus one that I like, has caffeine. And then I also brought a Huma Chia Plus. I like the strawberry lemonade one. It's got a little bit of caffeine in it too. So those are the 3. Like those are 3 that I pretty much always have on hand at home. And then I also have Martins usually, or Morton's on hand as well. But like I have enough to get me through my next marathon. So I'm like, oh, I'll just wait till the marathon, and then I don't have to buy another box before the next marathon. So I have been kind of avoiding them a little bit. Not avoiding them, saving them is the best way to put it. But so those are some ones that I like tend to typically have, and the reasons I have them are like they all work for me well. Some are more expensive than others, so like I kind of like, I use the cheaper ones more frequently for training runs. But then for like the longer runs or the bigger workouts, I'll get the ones that I like more, even if they're expensive. So that's kind of how I do it. I'm afraid I don't know how to read that name, but they're asking Glide Ride 3 or Novablast 3 for long runs. That's a good question. I think I would probably pick the Novablast because I just like squishy. They both have FF Blast Plus, and it's great. But the Glide Ride 3 is FF Blast Plus, a hardened EVA plate, and then Flight Foam. Regular Flight Foam, not Flight Foam Blast, but Flight Foam on the bottom. So they both kind of, I think that one's a little bit more firm and a little bit more structured. So I think it's going to really depend on what you want later in the run. If you want it to feel squishier and softer later in the run, I'd say probably go with the Novablast 3. Or if you're going to be putting some pace changes in there, go with the Novablast 3. The Glide Ride 3, I feel like that's a nice cruiser. So I would think of it more like a road bike versus like a beach cruiser. The beach cruiser is going to be nice and comfortable for a long period of time at a little bit more of a leisurely pace. I don't really like going fast on the Glide Ride 3. But the Novablast 3 can certainly pick up the pace. Really, I mean, it's just effortless. It's nice. It's such a nice shoe. But the Glide Ride 3 is also really, really good. I like that one too. And I think that for a day, especially if you're a little bit tired going into that long run, I'd say it's a big week. It's a high mileage week. You're getting to your long run, but you're already kind of tired already getting into it. Then I think that the Glide Ride is really going to be helpful because it just kind of keeps you from wasting energy with, imprecise foot strikes. So it's just like, I feel like it just kind of, it guides you. If that's what the guide sole technology is. Kind of keeps you like bumpers in the bowling alley. So makes it a little bit easier. All right. Let's see. Where to go here? There's another question about the Endorphin versus the Pro. Oh, Mr. Random says, a few of us in the group have put up some fast times in the men's Endorphin Speed, and I'm still wondering if I can handle the Endorphin Pro 3. So, yeah, I mean, I like the Endorphin Pro 2, I think was slightly better than the Endorphin Pro 1. Maybe I got better as a runner. Maybe that's what it is. But I felt like the Endorphin Pro run, I definitely didn't think I would want to take it longer than a half marathon. Endorphin Pro 2, I raced a half marathon in it and it did it really well. And I did a lot of long runs in the Endorphin Pro 2. I maybe could take it for a marathon race, but I'd be really concerned about like, how much are my feet going to hurt at like mile 22? I'm just like, to the point where I'm like, I'm not sure enough that I wouldn't pick it. Endorphin Pro 3 is supposed to be a little bit more longer distance oriented. So it'll be interesting to see like what they've done with the Speed 3 versus the Endorphin Pro 3. Like maybe the Endorphin, like we've seen a lot of brands start out with a race shoe and training companion. And I think we're going to start seeing more shoes do like Vaporfly, Next Percent, Alphafly. Kind of like one is the more marathon oriented, like cruise control, get to your marathon effort and stay there kind of shoe that maybe doesn't feel like the fastest, but gets you to marathon pace with the most efficiency. And then another one that's for faster stuff, and so like, I don't know how Saucony would do that. I don't know if they're doing that, just put that out there, but like, it'll be interesting to see where they go with it, or if they keep it where the Speed is kind of like the softer one, and the Pro is the firmer one. So like, I'm not sure, but I can't wait to try it. And you know what though? I gotta tell you, the Endorphin Speed 3, the one that Ultra Trail Steven has, he has like an all blue one. That one just looks terrible. I'm trying to think of, I can't remember what colors I saw. There's a black one. I saw black ones at the running event in last November. I'm gonna wait till that one comes out. If the first one if the launch color is blue, I'm not gonna get it right away. I know that's a terrible reason to not get a shoe, but I'm not gonna run 100 miles. Like I ran 100 miles in the checkered flag colorway from last year. It started to grow on me by the end, but I didn't love it. So I'm gonna wait for the colorway that I want. That running guy says, I've seen a lot of US YouTubers are getting their hands on the Endorphin Pro 3s. Not me. No one sent me any. The thing is, like last year, Saucony sent me the entire Endorphin set. And then they didn't even email me. They weren't even like, hey, we're sending this to you. It just showed up at my house. So I don't know. I don't know who to email to ask to get the Endorphin Pro 3. So at this point, I'll just wait. I'll wait and I'll buy it myself. That's fine. Leona says, anyone try sweat patches? Thoughts? You know what? I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you this yet. But since I don't remember the brand name, I'll tell you. I got an email from one of the PR companies that I work with. And they were like, hey, one of our clients is doing like a sweat patch version of the blood sugar patches. I don't know if this one implants into your skin like the blood sugar patches do. But they're like, it's like the idea of the Gatorade sweat patch, but it's actually going to work. I was like, okay, I'll try it. And I don't know when it was supposed to come out, but they were like, it's something, end of the month. I don't know if the end of last month or end of this month. And then we'll make sure you're one of the first to get it. And I was like, sounds great. And I haven't heard about it. That happens to me a lot. Where people are like, hey, we're going to send you this. And then I'm like, okay. And then it never arrives. Maybe I need to follow. I need to be better about. I need to like set reminders for myself to follow up with these people. All right, let me scroll down a little bit because I'm way behind you guys in the chat. Hey, it's Carlos. He says the Endorphin Pro gave me blisters on my index toes. I was convinced because the plate is too stiff. And then I thought it was a great shoe. Yeah, I think it's just like I think the foam in the Power Run PB in the Endorphin Pro, I'm convinced is very different than the foam in the Power Run. Than the same Power Run PB, or at least the similarly named Power Run PB in Endorphin Speed. I think that's what it is. I don't know that it's I think it's the stiffness of the foam. But I don't know. I mean, it could be the plate. Sometimes it's hard to tease some of that stuff out. Brian Battaglia says, I think I saw Megan Murray post something on Instagram testing a sweat patch. Can't remember the brand. I thought she was testing the sugar thing. That's what I thought she was doing. I don't recall it being a sweat patch. But we'll see. Luke Klein says, you don't have a social media manager? No, I don't. That's why a lot of things don't happen. And that's why I also like to work with other teams, because then it's someone whose job it is to do stuff can kind of manage me, which is kind of nice. Just because sometimes when I had my regular job, I had systems in place to make sure I didn't forget things. But I guess I just need to put those systems in place again. Mr. Random says, what do you think Brooks need to liven up their shoe lineup? Well, I mean, I think that this year is like, we should all be talking about Brooks all year long, but they haven't shipped any shoes. That's the problem. So what I saw in Texas was really exciting. Nitrogen and everything and all of their shoes this year. So there's the Caldera, looks incredible. The Glycerin, I think I'm going to actually try the Glycerin again. I tried the 19 and I did not love it. But this year I think it's going to be amazing in the 20. I think I'll probably try the Brooks Ghost again too this year. I wish that they were updating the tempo. I think it's just new colors. I wish they were updating the Catamount. I think it's just more colors. So those are disappointing. But like the fact that they're putting nitro foams in all of their other shoes, I think is, and then like the Hyperion Elite 3, probably not going to test. It just looks too similar to the version 2. So unless someone says like, no, it's way different, which I don't think it is, but unless someone says that, then I probably won't test it. But I think that like, I just need to be able to buy them. Like, I don't know why I can't. I should be able to buy them now. I feel like Brooks needs to have their shoes out now. I don't think the new Ghost is out. I just looked the other day for the new Glycerin. I think you can find it in Europe, but it's not available yet in the US. So like, that's what really needs to happen. They need to start delivering on the shoes that they promised from last November, you know? And maybe this is part of their release schedule from the beginning. I'm not saying that there's delays or they're doing something wrong. I just wish that the shoes were out now so I could be running in them, you know? So that's all. Mika says that the Hyperion Tempo is perhaps the best shoe I've ever run in. I love that shoe. That ice blue foam. I just want to eat it. He said, it's his best shoe I've ever run in. He'd gone through 3 pairs. Nice. Ron Tommy says, with the Brooks launch, any of them are the worst shoes I've ever run in about 20 years of running. Wow, that's bad. That's really bad. I don't think I've ever tried. I've tried the Revel, I want to say. Did I try the launch? I'm trying to remember. This is where the Brooks lineup gets confusing. Like, there's a Revel, there's a Launch, and then there's a something else that are all kind of the same. Or maybe it's just those 2. And I'm not sure what the difference is on them. But, yeah. JC says the Hyperion Tempo 2, will there be one? I'm not sure. I didn't actually talk to anyone from Brooks when I saw their booth in Texas. So I don't know if they were calling it a Hyperion Tempo 2 or because it looked pretty similar, just some different colors. It was like a black and red one that I saw. I think orange is their big color for the year, that like burnt, like that dark orange. And so it was more red though in the Hyperion Tempo. But like that's all I know, is that there will at least be more colors. But other than that, I have no idea. Will Willing says, speaking of Brooks, I wonder what Allie wears. One of the sponsored athletes. Seems like limited options. Well, I'm not sure she's still sponsored by Brooks anymore. So that's one thing. But I think when she was, a lot of the time, a lot of her workouts she was doing in the Hyperion Tempos and the Hyperion Elite 2s. So that's what I kind of remember her seeing. I don't think I ever saw her wearing like Ghosts, you know? So, Autovog says, I really enjoy how you film and edit your videos. Have you thought about filming non-running related content, but in a cinematic format instead of vlog? Yeah, for a brief moment, I thought about making like a toy unboxing channel and giving it the same treatment as like running shoes or cell phones. But I was like, I just don't like toys. I mean, toys are fun. They're toys. They're fun. But like, I just would not be all that interested in like dealing with like brands and like figuring all that stuff out. I don't think I would have liked it. But there was one time like when my kids got like some giant LOL doll thing, and it had like 57 surprise packages that they could open up. You know, I filmed that in detail, in slow motion and stuff like that, and filmed that while like playing with it, interacting with the toys. But I was just like, I don't like doing this. So I have considered it. Yeah, but so far, yeah, I used to film a lot of kids and family stuff that way too, but more still in vlog format. So, but there was a lot of slow motion, a lot of music, you know, not a lot of talking kind of thing. So, and I enjoyed that, but it's just, you know, it's hard because then you're filming kids. So, hey, it's Carlos C. wants to know if I'm running the Chicago Half in September. I haven't signed up for it yet. And I was thinking that I've run it more often than not, you know? So like I run it a lot of times because they always give those ludicrously large, gigantic medals. And those are always kind of fun to have. But I don't know if I'm gonna run it this year. I'll have to like really reevaluate kind of like my running calendar as we get closer, because I still got to figure out a time to run. I'd like to do 100K, and September might be a really good time for that, and I have a feeling it's probably going to be right around that time. But like, I can't really run 100K at the time for the Chicago half, because then that's 2 weeks from Chicago, and I'm running Chicago, so I'm not sure. We'll see. But I might be like, I don't know. We'll see. I'd like to. I like it. It's a great race. Let's see. Luke Line says, "What's the deal with KT tape?" Is that how you meant to say it? I feel like you're saying it like Jerry Seinfeld. But yeah, kinesiology tape. Yeah, when I was having problems with my knee, I was putting that stuff on every day. I feel like, I don't know if it helps or not, but it made me felt like something was being done, and that was useful. And it did feel like it was. I mean, I don't know if it really made things better or did less damage, but I felt better about it. So, but I know some people run with it all the time. I don't know. I think it may make more sense for other kinds of sports that are a little bit more explosive, like tennis players, volleyball players, soccer players. I don't know. Yeah. I think that I used a lot of tape. I don't know if it was KT tape, but I used to have to tape up my wrists and my ankles quite a bit when I was a pole vaulter. But that's about it. Andrew Strauss says, "Looking forward to seeing you in Columbus, Ohio." That's cool, Andrew. I'm looking forward to it too. I'm gotta make sure that I get some Buckeyes. That's not like a seasonal thing, right? You can get Buckeyes any time of the year, right? The candy, like I really want to get those. And that's the kind of thing where I can't eat that when my daughter's around, I think, but I won't have my daughter around, so I can totally eat some Buckeyes. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I was also trying to think, like, I know Columbus is very far from Cincinnati, but I was like, well, when am I going to be in Ohio again? I wonder if there's a place to get some vegetarian Skyline chili. That would be nice. So those are some things I got thinking about in my mind for the Ohio trip. I'm not going to be there very long. It's going to be like 24 hours, less than 24 hours in Columbus. So I'm going to have to be very efficient with my eating, I think. But it should be a fun time. Stevie76 says, "When I get a headache, I put KT tape around my head." I think Stevie's joking, but that sounds pretty funny. Andrew says, "In Columbus, you can get Buckeyes year round." There we go. Well, I would expect at least in Columbus, right? That you get Buckeyes year round. It's been a long time since I've been in Columbus. Probably a good, maybe 20 years since I've been in Columbus. Maybe 15 years since I've been in Columbus. It's been a while. But yeah, the last time I was in Columbus, I remember I was at someone's house, and for some reason they had a full-on Iron Chef costume, and I was just wearing that all night long. I think that the person that lived there was an intern on the show or something like that, and so I had all this Iron Chef stuff. It was a pretty fun night. Steve Zervo says, "Molly seems to swear by the KT tape. Maybe it's just a mental thing. Like how I feel my compression sleeves are actually healing my legs." She does wear the KT tape a lot. I mean, she was all sorts of taped up for Tokyo, wasn't she? No, not Tokyo, was it? There was another race where she said like she taped up her ribs. Was it New York? It was New York, I think. And then she usually has some on her knee. That's true. She does have it on a lot. Let's see, Mr. Ram says, "I just checked the Brooks EU website and the Caldera 6 has dropped. Some really nice colors." Interesting. See, like Europe and the UK, because they're not the same thing. Or I guess the EU and the UK are not the same thing anymore. But they've been getting all the shoes first. I don't know if that's a supply chain thing, if that's intentional, if there's some other strategic reason that they're doing that. maybe like they test out quantities there, and based on how things sell in Europe, that's how they decide for the U. I'm not sure why, but at first it seemed like only Nike was doing that, and then now it seems like everybody's doing that. And for Brooks, it's really weird that they're doing that first, because it's like I was talking with people when I was in Spain, and I was like, you know, you don't see a lot of Brooks around here, and they're like, no, Brooks has a very, very small presence in Europe. And so I was like, oh, okay. I guess that could make sense. But like, I mean, it's not like I saw none, but I saw very few. So then that would make me think like, well, then it makes less sense for it to launch there first, because it's not like people are clamoring for it if it's a very small niche portion of the market. Because then like you sell it in the US first, it gets a lot of popularity in the US, then like the kind of word of mouth travels to Europe, and then it's available. So that's what I would think, but I don't know. No one asks me, which they shouldn't, because I don't know anything about that kind of thing. Mika says, I sometimes tape my knees for really long runs, as I don't have much, if any, cartilage left under my patellas. I think it's 99.9% mental, but it keeps me in check so I don't get too lazy with my landing. Well, I mean, I think that's a great reason to do it. Probably a really, overall, really cheap way to keep reminding yourself to run pretty, you know? So I can get behind that. I think that's fine, you know? So it could be. It could be, I mean, that's kind of like just another way of saying, like, you know, it's part of it is just in your head. But that's good. I remember when I was using it, it just felt like I was getting hugged in a nice way, you know? So it's like, I think there's something to it, but like, I do think that the data is pretty sparse on how much it like helps. But I also feel like knee pain is such a vague term that doesn't describe really what's going on, and maybe there are some subsets of knee pain that are amenable to KT tape and that aren't. Same thing with like hip stuff, you know? So, and Danny J says, it seems people misunderstand KT. KT tape isn't for muscles, it's for fascia. Fascia is a type of webbing that wraps the muscle, and the KT helps to relieve the tension in the fascia and pair with myofascial release. Okay. I have to unpack that a little bit. I have to think about that. Okay. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I did not appreciate that fact. Thank you for the clarification. Dadaral says it's 80% mental and 50% physical. That's funny. All right, guys. I think I'm going to leave it there for today. Tomorrow, no video. I think we'll do a video on Sunday. I've been running enough in the Metaspeed Edge Plus that I think I could really talk about it now. So we'll do like an Edge Plus video with a versus Sky Plus a little bit in there. And I'm gonna have to talk about like cadence versus stride running again. And I'm trying to figure out a way to best kind of talk about that. So that's been like the most difficult part about the video, but that'll be the next video that comes out. And then I won't see you guys for live stream again until Monday mukbang. I got those granola bars from Martin in, so we'll do some taste testing on Monday, see how those are. So hopefully I'll see you then. In the meantime, this weekend, have some great runs out there and be safe. Thanks, everybody.